Welcome to North Georgia Doing Business. I'm your host, Dianne Shaver, and I interview entrepreneurs and small business owners in this dynamic, beautiful area called North Georgia, which, if I'm honest, kind of tips into a little bit of North Carolina, a little bit of South Carolina, but we call it all North Georgia. And today I have the pleasure of chatting with someone who's well known to so many shop owners in our area. And her name is Ali Wilkins. And her business is Ali Wilkins Designs, and she's famous for window art. So welcome, Ali.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I really wanted to know who you are because I kept looking around and seeing all this window art, and I kind of just let it be there. And I thought, no, there's somebody doing this. So how did you get into doing something so cool?
Well, I got really lucky. So I used to work for Fortify Pie for a really long time. And while I was there, I would always do the chalkboard art. And my boss at the time, this was probably the Christmas of 2019, she told me, why don't you paint the windows? And I had never heard of window painting before. I mean, I went and got my degree in health science. So I had no kind of anything. I mean, I always would do art for fun, but so I researched it and I researched the type of paint I would need and all the things, and I did it. And then from there I got another job that Christmas, and then nothing really happened. And then COVID happened that spring, or that kind of late winter, and businesses had the idea to kind of write messages along their windows, we're open, or stay safe, or just kind of positive things. So my business started to grow, which seems contradictory because a lot of things were shutting down at the time, but my business started to grow and I just got super busy with it. So I got lucky, and then it just kind of grew from there, and now it's my full-time job, which is wild.
It is wonderful. And when do you do the windows? Because I've never seen you at work. So are you in the middle of the night? When are you doing them?
So I usually start my days as soon as the sun comes up. So unfortunately in the winter, my days are a little bit shorter. And then I like to get an early start, especially in the summertime here. It's probably why a lot of people don't see me doing them, especially in the summer. I get up at 5 and get to the windows at 6 or 7 before town gets super busy. Because if you know anything about Clayton Main Street, not a whole lot of parking. It's definitely bustling in the summertime. So I work pretty much all during the day, and I work at evenings. And so some of these stores, I do murals as well. And when I do the murals, I have to do them when they're closed usually, so nighttime. So sometimes I'll start my day at 5 and I will not get home until 1, 2 in the morning just working. So I'm lucky to be able to travel with it as well. So that kind of keeps me busy all over.
Wow, it's a good thing you're young.
I know.
So tell me, how did you get into doing murals? Because that's very different. The painting techniques, I would think, would be really different.
Yeah, so it's really wild how it all just kind of unfolded. I mean, I kind of do a lot of different things. So I'll do sign paintings and hand lettering. I transitioned into some digital art. And basically, I just never said no. If somebody said, do you want me, can you do this? I always be honest. I'm well, I've never done it, but I'll try. I'll do my best. And everyone was super patient with me. And I think the first big mural job I got, there's a doctor's office right here in town, and they wanted to do a dinosaur themed room. And so I basically just got free reign to do anything. I did all dinosaurs, big trees, all the things. And once you build your portfolio and people ask you, I can start. There's hardly many things now that I do where I'm oh, I've never done that, but I can try. But people still shock me. I get silos to paint, water tanks, buses. So people do still bring things out of the woodwork for me to paint, but
I love it. So how long did it take you to understand that you're an artist? Coming from the background that you came from, how long did it take you to accept it?
Well, I got very blessed to run along with some artists here in the area. One of them in particular, her name's Lizzie Falcon, and she kind of I think she was the first one to tell me that this didn't happen by accident. Like, you're an artist. And I think a lot of people in business, they have imposter syndrome. Like, there's no way, like, I didn't go to school for this. I don't do like typical like canvas art. Like, I'm not an artist. I'm not a quote unquote what you see as an artist. And I think honestly, it probably took well over a year for it to be like, okay, this is for real. Once I graduated college in 2021. And I've always, so I have, this is my gym. So I open a gym. So I'm lucky to have to be able to do both. But when I graduated and I kind of quit some of my other jobs, and before I opened the gym, and I realized I was only doing art. Like, that was what I was doing almost 100 hours a week. I think that was enough solidification for me to realize, okay, like, I'm an artist. Like, I'm getting paid professionally to create art. I think I'm an artist now.
You are. There's no question about that. So how do you go about choosing what to put on a window? Do you have a consultation with the shop owner? How do you do it?
So it kind of depends. If it's a new client, I like to, we'll talk over the phone, we'll talk on text, whatever is easy for them. And they'll kind of give me ideas. Like, a lot of times it's seasonal. So if it's a pizza place, for example, they'll be like, I want Valentine's Day, but it'd be kind of fun to throw in something to do with pizza. And then I just have free reign to do whatever I want. Some people are like, very particular. I've had a few clients like throughout my time that actually, I think they probably have a creative side of themselves also, because they'll go on like Google Docs or something and make they'll take a picture of their window and they'll actually add the exact writing they want and the exact font, and then they'll Google search like images and they'll like cut them out and put it exactly how they want it, which I love that as well. Honestly, it takes a lot of work out of my job, so just to copy what you did is easy. And then I have some people that just say, whatever, I trust you, like whatever. Some of the people that I've been doing for a really long time, they don't even know that I come. I don't even give them a heads up. They just say, I don't care when you do it. Just be here for this season, this season, this season. I come. Sometimes they laugh because it's like, you come in the night. I don't even know you're here, and it's done. And then I come to work the next day and it's done. So it definitely is a variety. I would say most people at this point trust me just to do whatever.
Oh, that says a lot about your abilities, and that people know how good you are.
Thank you.
So do you remember the first window you ever did and how felt about it? Tell me about it.
Oh gosh, yeah. So I actually just posted something on my social media for the holidays. It was the 4-to-5 pie window. It was the first one that I did. And I'll never forget, it took me 8 hours. Like, it was a full day. And I had my mom used to paint murals in New Jersey in the 80s. So she like had the crazy artistic side also. But as I was begging her, I was like, please, like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, come help me. And I remember I printed off on the printer, I Googled like Christmas photos and like Christmas window painting, and I printed them all off, and I went to paint this window. And I just remember it was so cold. The paint wouldn't dry, like you could see through, like it wasn't opaque enough. And everyone was like, this is amazing. Like, this is amazing. And at the time, I'm like, I guess it's not that bad, but it took me all day. And then I did 4-to-5 pies again. I guess this is the third year of me doing theirs for Christmas. And I did like the side by side, and their window probably took me an hour and a half. And it's dramatically different. And the owner, Jack Nolan, came out and he just gave me a big hug, and he was like, it's amazing, like, to see like how different it is. But at the time, like, I thought it was great. And I look back at some of those things I first did, and I thought, like, now I'm like, I don't know how I got another job off of that. Like, I don't know, but it's just practice. And it shows truly, like, I think I'm a decent artist, but when you do it every single day and you're pushed out of your comfort zone every single day, it's like with anything that you do, you're bound to get better. And I'm lucky that I have, because I think it's kept me in business.
Well, you're definitely in business. You're busy all the time. So tell me, do you paint on the inside or the outside of the window? And what kind of paint can weather storms and snow and rain and whatever?
Yeah, so I paint on the outside. I've only done a handful of inside paintings because when you do it on the inside, you have to do everything backwards. So, like on the normal painting, it's like a canvas. You can start with your base and then add your details at the end. But when you do it on the inside, you have to add your details first. And sometimes, like if you don't have quite a game plan, it's easy to paint on the outside because you can change as you go and paint over. So my process is I start with a white on the outside. I start with a white acrylic base and I just get paint from Home Depot in the gallons, and I'll trace everything out that I'm going to do, put a whole white base. So everyone, like, especially during Christmas time, or people always walk by and be like, oh, is this just going to be like a white winter like scene? I'm like, no, just wait, just wait. So I do all of the white. And then I start to add on the color. And usually it's 1 or 2 coats of like a real base color. I just get my shapes back out after like covering it all up. And then the 3rd or 4th coat is where I'll add my highlights, my low lights. I'll add the black detail. People usually can pick out my windows from like other different types of artists because I use a really heavy black line as like a detail. So that's kind of the final step, and it kind of brings it all together. And for the most part, I haven't had a whole lot of issue with weather, honestly. Obviously I can't paint if there's no awning, and the paint doesn't dry if it's rainy, like it's really humid outside. I have a really hard time with that. But there are some windows where it doesn't have an awning and the rain comes in and it'll kind of speckle it a little bit. Like you can kind of see that it's been rained on, and I'll go back and fix those if there's an issue. But for the most part, the weather's been okay. It hasn't been too cold of a winter too, because the winter can almost like freeze the paint up and then it like chips. So yeah, it's what I recommend for during the winter time. If you picked a design to do in November and you didn't change it to the spring, you might see some wear and tear on it. But if you did a winter, like a Christmas, and then like just a winter or a Christmas and a Valentine's Day, changing it twice like that keeps it fresh and you won't have a whole lot of issues. But yeah.
Oh, and there's so much more to it than
Oh yeah.
thought. It's like this is really a lot. So what's the split between the time you spend on windows and the time you do murals? Are they about even, or is one more dominant?
So I would say probably my windows is my bread and butter. Like that's the thing that I do every single day. During the Christmas season, I'm doing like 4 or 5 windows a day. The murals, I would say I do a lot more during these colder months because it's a little bit slower for window changes. So I kind of try to book, like when people reach out throughout the year, I try to funnel it, to late fall into winter time where I do the murals. I definitely think it's probably like 25-75 on the murals. I'm still pretty busy. I get, along with the murals, like once again, I don't say like a whole lot of no. So I get a lot of random like commissions and things here and there, and a lot of digital work that I kind of just loop that in with the mural things. But the windows is definitely what I have to do the most.
Yeah. Do you ever think about training someone else to help you? I mean, as you get busier, and I had this conversation with Les Barnett from M3 Guitars.
Oh yeah.
You get to that place. This is a real entrepreneurial crossroads where you decide you're going to keep going alone or you're going to add more people. So where are you in that?
I have definitely been knocking on that door for a while now. It is a struggle. It's really hard. Last summer I did hire somebody to just kind of go with me and do the base, because when I do my windows, people can help me clean them, and when I draw out the outlines, people can fill in the big colors, almost like a coloring book kind of. And the people that I've hired have had interest in art before, but what I've noticed, which is like the hard part of it, like my hours are not desirable very much for some of the younger people that have been wanting to help me. So a lot of times it's not always high schoolers, but it's like high schoolers that want to major in art or something like that in college. So I've gotten a couple of those people. And then also I've gotten a couple of people that are just looking for a part-time job. But it's been hard because once you do that, I can move faster, but I'm also moving a little bit slower because I'm having to teach so much. and be patient. And especially with art, no artist is the same. So the way you do something, I'm probably going to pick at it. And I've been really lucky, not so much of late, but during some of my really busy times, my mom has helped me a lot. But she says I'm the worst boss because I'm just like super picky. I wouldn't do that with somebody else, but I'm like real particular. So I definitely have been coming into that issue because I travel as far as 2.5 hours away a couple times a month. And so my business has like Clayton is great. And I kind of, when I have like a month, like let's say it's March is a huge month to change everything. It's you go from all winter to all spring. And like the first week I book it so I'm the farthest place away. And then the second week I'm in the next town over. And then the third week I'm in Clayton. And then the fourth week I usually go down south to Clarksville. So it's like once I travel, that's what's hard. If I was just in this area, I probably could manage it myself, but I do want to grow it. So yeah, it's a struggle. It's hard to find somebody to do exactly. It's not so much you can teach it, but the time that it takes, I'm not quite there yet that I have to do it.
But the real question to me anyway is that desirable? Do you really want to grow the business so you're kind of the overseer and other people are doing it? Or do you want to keep it personal in the way it is now?
So that's the thing I kind of struggled with. And I think I figured that out when I hired somebody that, though I do want to grow it, I think the ways that I would like to grow it is I would love to get booked as like almost like a musician. You get booked a gig a little bit away and they pay you. I'd love to get booked a mural, like a couple states over. Like that would be awesome to have the opportunity to travel out there, go do it and come back. As far as the window painting, I think that's what's made my business successful and why this town, like I love Clayton, I love North Georgia, like I love this area because the community is so special. And in a time where most businesses were like struggling to make ends meet or so many shifts or changes happen, like the businesses here took a pride in like making the community feel like everything's going to be okay, like during COVID. And even now, like when things are a little bit slower, like they still budgeted to have their windows painted, which isn't like that's not a necessity to keep your doors open. So I think the specialness of doing this is myself, like having the relationship with these people. And if I think I hired somebody and all of a sudden there's Joe over here going to paint the windows, not that it's bad. They'll learn to love Joe and like get to know them just as much. But I think the relationships I made with them, it would be hard to step away from that and oversee it. It's a goal in ways, but not the end goal, I guess.
Yeah, that is hard, and it's something that keeps on being a debate with yourself. It gets settled once. And you touched on something really critical, I think, and it's the energy and the attitude of this area. I have never encountered anything like it.
Yeah.
And why do you think it's like this? This is what I asked the previous person that I interviewed today. Why do you think it's like that? Because it's remarkable. It really is so clear.
So I think I worked in a lot of different places in Clayton. So when I was in high school, I worked different places. In college, worked at the pizza place, all the things. So I've gotten to learn people being my boss, like working for people like a contractor, like just really learning all of the business owners in this area. Now being a business owner myself. I think there's a shared experience that everybody has, and within the business owners and then the community of just people like locals, and even visitors, like longtime visitors. I don't want to exclude people that come to this area because we want to share it and we would be nothing without sharing it. So that's huge. But I think it's the shared experience of the beauty of it, how busy it can be, like how insanely bustling the town can be. But then I think the most important thing that I've come to notice, especially this winter, is how slow it can be, like how quiet and how peaceful and how like we love tourists and love having people come visit. But it's at the end of the day on a Tuesday morning, there's nobody in town except us, like walking around and going and getting coffee at the place that we go get coffee every day. Or, you have a couple minutes, I need a birthday present for something, I'm gonna go run into the stores, or I go to Reeves almost every single day and get supplies, and you get to see the same people and you shop local. And as people love to write that home, but truly it's the people on Main Street, they support each other so much. In opening up a brick and mortar business, though it's different, the support that this community has given me just is, it gives me makes my heart huge, because like I said, it's especially the window painting, that was just such an oddball job that no one even blinked an eye. They're like, yeah, this makes sense. For sure. I have somebody that they run the nursing home right down the street. And she said that her residents love it. It's her favorite thing. And I remember I was just getting started, and I would text her before the seasons. This is kind of before I had a regular list. I said, hey, Easter's coming up. Do you want me to come up for Easter? Do you want me to do Easter window? I'm chomping at the bit to get more clients. And she's like, honey, come once a month. I don't care what the holiday is. Put it on your calendar once a month. I want a new window. And so it's kind of just been that growth, but it's people want to see me do well. They want each other to do well. And that shared, I think that's the energy is people want each other to do well. And if they're not doing well, it's how can I help? Not, ooh, that's tough, but how can I assist you? And a lot of the thing too, a lot of these people that own these businesses and they've been owning it for so long, they're in there hustling more than anybody else sees. I always think about Bonnie at the Clayton Cafe. She is in there in that back cooking in that kitchen more than anybody else. And my parents own restaurants my whole life, and they always told me that if your workers see that you are in the kitchen scrubbing the floor and cleaning out the trash cans, they'll respect you. If they see you're the one doing it, you need to set the standard. So I think that's what always instilled my work ethic, that if my community is going to support me, the least I can do is work, do what they want me to do and do it to the best of my ability.
But it is remarkable. And I think you've hit on it, that people really want one another to do well. Do you know how extraordinary that is? You probably don't know because you grew up here, but I'm coming originally from the North and then from Charleston, and it's totally different cultures. And so I'm blown away every day. I am so grateful for everyone here. It is phenomenal. So thank you for languaging it so well. Anyway, getting back to your business, do you ever repeat a design, or is every design brand new?
Most of them are pretty brand new. I really try to stay away from creating the same exact thing. The only similarities I'll probably have is, since I have 4 different towns that I really have a big client list, if I do some kind of similar snowman thing here, I'll do it 4 towns over and do a similar snowman design there, just because of the amount of windows I do. But in a town, I'll never do the same ones. So, and as far as years, I think my skills are always getting better and I have different ideas. So I have yet to really repeat too much. I have gotten in the past where people look through my page and they're like, I want this. And if they specifically ask for it, then I will give them something similar. But I try to keep it fresh and new. Yeah.
So do you have any idea how many windows you've done so far?
I actually thought about coming up with that number the other day. I do know that, so Christmas is my busiest time, and I did throughout the years of how many I had done. And so my first year of doing it, I did 3 windows. And then my second year of Christmas doing it, I did 35. And then my third year of doing it, it was 60. And then this last year, I did over 100. So, wow. Yeah, that was kind of cool to see that growth. But yeah, it's got to be hundreds, I would think, in a year now. Yeah. That's
amazing. Eventually, you're going to have to give up sleeping. You know that. And eating probably will have to go next. I'm just saying.
I know. Definitely during the Christmas time, I'm painting the window I can do it.
But that's going to be a continuing thing for you to keep resolving over and over again as you get busier and busier. So it would be interesting to watch your decisions and what you do. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy your windows. That's all I want to say. So is there anything else you want to add before we close? Anything you want to say that I haven't covered or that you think is important? Anything?
I think you really asked all the hard-hitting questions. I think it just really something that I've noticed a lot, especially this season, that's really warmed my heart is that people that visit here, like maybe once a year, like I've had families that say, like, have come up to me recently, we always come every Christmas and we've noticed your windows the last couple of years, or we saw you last year painting the windows, or like we remember this, like, and like, excuse me, that has made me really happy that it's become like a part of Clayton and that people look forward to the different window changes. Or I've had people say like, we always know like there's a change coming, like when we see, or like the seasons are changing and we like look forward to it. So that makes me happy to know that like it's just become a part of like what makes Main Street Main Street. So yeah.
There's no question. You're definitely a big part of it because, I mean, you can't separate out your windows from the store in a way. You know what I mean? It sort of enhances it. So it's pretty cool. Ali, thank you so much for taking time from a very busy schedule. I mean, I'm really impressed that you took time today. I so appreciate you. And just continuing whatever you're doing, but also take care of yourself, please. Don't run around. So thank you again, Ali. And thank you to my audience on North Georgia Doing Business. I'm your host, Dianne Shaver, and I'll be interviewing another entrepreneur and small business owner in this wonderful, dynamic, really incredibly unique area we call North Georgia. And in the meantime, when you're on the North Georgia Chamber of Commerce website, which is where you found this, please check out. There's some tools for you to use for your business. And maybe one day I'll be interviewing you. So until then, this is Dianne Shaver saying thank you for joining us and see you soon. Take care.